Alright guys, and I think we are live. So hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here. I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from, and welcome back to the Crypto Analyst live stream. Now today we are going to be going over Maya Preferred and really doing a more so of a live analysis over Maya Preferred 223 and DFS because both of these guys just came out with some big news. Really a couple news articles. I mean, if you guys look up towards the top over here, you guys can see, if I can, there we go. You guys can see that I have just a number of articles lined up top. So we're going to be going over all of these guys, talking about what's happening, why Maya Preferred ended a month early on their forward split, the DFS news that's coming out with kind of the rework of the token and how that's going to be, and how that's going to really kind of work out from here, because that definitely has a very important announcement that has to be out by really tonight or tomorrow. So we're going to be talking about that today as well, and everything in between. So we're going to be doing a live analysis of Maya, MAPR, and DFS and all the news that just came out on those. I think at some points it's kind of easier to do a live analysis of these guys than to rather I don't know what the word would be. I think it's easier to do a live analysis on these guys rather than do a recorded video, because when you do a recorded video, I end up getting a lot of questions that I don't cover stuff on, or people have questions about what I talked about, and then I usually get messages on Discord or something like that. But rather than when I do a live stream, people can just ask me those questions directly. So there's pros and cons to everything, and I definitely think that this is going to be something that has a lot more pros than cons. So let's go ahead and give everyone a moment to kind of join in here. I'm going to go ahead and send out our notifications, and then we will be able to go ahead and get this show on the road. So welcome everybody if you're just now joining in. I'm going to make sure that the stream is working properly, and then we're going to get ourselves moving on from here. All right. Oh, there's a little bit of double mic feedback. Let's fix that. And we should be good to go. Notification is sent out. And awesome. So welcome guys. If you guys are just now joining in, one of the things that I was saying is that we're doing a live analysis today on the news that just came out, or really a lot of different news articles that came out over all of the UK financial legislation. What I mean by that is news came out about DFS, news came out about MAPR, it's just a bunch of stuff. So if you guys can see, I have all these news articles up in here that we're going to be really going over today. I'm going to be doing a live analysis on this. And what I was saying earlier is that it's kind of easier to do a live analysis on this rather than to do a recorded video, because that way questions can be asked directly instead of having me kind of get bombarded, on Discord. So welcome everybody if you're just now joining in. I want to kind of give this a moment just so that people can have a chance to join in. I'm not really sure what's wrong over here. It looks like the website's a little broken. But yeah, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is why the Maya Preferred 223 split ended 1 month early. They just released a bunch of news articles on this. I saw this on like at least probably 5 or 6 different websites or news outlets. I pulled up like 3 or 4 of them, I think. Maybe even 5 of them. No, I think I only pulled up 4 of them. But we're going to be going over why this happened, as well as the big news about DFS. So we're going to cover Maya first, and then we're going to be working our way into DFS. Amazing video today. Let's hit the star. Yeah, guys, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. It helps out the channel a lot. Steve Hansen says, I'm late. Wow, a lot of articles. Yeah, that really is a lot of articles. I saw it everywhere. What was I saying? Yeah, you're really not too late, Steve, so don't worry about it. Or Steven, sorry. But let's go ahead and dive on into this. I think I've given enough time for people to kind of get the flow and to get in here. But now that everyone has kind of started to join, let's go ahead and kind of start to talk about what's happening over within Maya Preferred right now. Because for them to end 1 month early, it kind of raises a lot of eyebrows. It raises a lot of questions. But a lot of people are probably excited and nervous as to why it ended early. So let's go ahead and solve that issue by talking about it first and foremost. So if you guys aren't familiar already, Maya Preferred, which was frozen for the forward split, really the first forward split in crypto history, it was frozen at a price of $250 roughly, but it was tethered to the price of 0.025 BTC, which was and has been roughly $250. Now, if Bitcoin went up a little or down a little, again, it was tethered to the price of 0.025 BTC, but for the most part, it stayed somewhere around this area. I mean, BTC hasn't been that volatile in like the last month or last 29 days to really go too much in one direction away from this price. So for the most part, the price was roughly at $250 and frozen there for the last 29 days or almost the last month. And since then, they had a maximum of 1 million tokens that could have been sold for this forward split opportunity. Now, why is this ending early? I think that's the question that a lot of us have. I don't know if this is the article. I think this was the article that I was reading. I read through a couple of these, but there's one of them that I didn't get through, and they were all pretty much very similar because they're all based off the same thing. But where was it? Basically, it was a quote. Here it is. In a statement regarding the end of the split, UK Financial Ltd. CEO James Dowkey had this to say. Excuse me. Now that this is the perfect time to buy MAPR, as this company is entering a new era with major financing contracts that have already been signed. And that was one of the things that stood out to me when I was going through this, is that when they were talking about, or not even when they were talking about, one of the things to me was, why was this ending early? And for them to be ending early, one of the questions was why, but I'm taking a guess that this is something to do with it. So the fact that this is being said in here, but we're not being told who, is not something I'm taking lightly. So I'm imagining that there was something very, very significant, some sort of major financing happening in the back scene that we just don't know about yet, because for them to stop, again, the first forward split in crypto history, one that's really setting precedents for future ones to come, I would imagine that it would have to be something major to happen, or a bunch of things major on the back end for this to just kind of be halted. Now, the holders who trusted, this is what he was saying. Now, the holders who trusted us with their investments will reap the rewards when the coin's price climbs back to the original price or high price of $25,000. The split is another step in our market's consolidation strategy, alongside backing Bitcoin with gold and silver. Again, I think this is really good because they're not forgetting about this. They talk about, currently working with the escrow account to get the Maya preferred tokens over to an escrowed account or an escrowed wallet, whichever one it may be, to be able to back Bitcoin with this money. And then they also talk about DFS. So they're not forgetting about the past here, which is another thing that when I'm going through and I'm analyzing this stuff, I'm making sure that they're not just forgetting about what they've said before. And that's something that I can definitely see over here, is they're still talking about the past. They're still talking about their acquisition of 51% over DFS token, which is something we're going to be talking about just here in a minute, but they're also still talking about backing Bitcoin and gold and silver. Now, obviously, the big eye catcher for a lot of people in here is going to be the fact that MAPR and UK Financial is talking about getting Maya Preferred 223 back to $25,000. That is going to be the big eye catcher for most people in this situation, because the price is obviously right now at $250, which would mean 100x, or like 100, what is that, like 10,000% or something? So basically 100x from where the current price is back to $25,000, which would be, again, a substantial gain for anyone who owned any part of this. So now the time is to watch as UK Financial pushes this price back, or what, they've said that they're going to do everything so far, and everything that they said has come true this far. So do I have any doubts that this is going to come true? The answer is going to be no. I mean, I don't know why they would do 100 things and fulfill those 100 promises, only not to fulfill the 100 first, right? That's just kind of the way that I'm looking at this. Everything that they said that they're going to do with all these news articles, they said that they were going to back a major cryptocurrency. They said that they were going to acquire DFS. They said that they were going to be getting added to new and bigger exchanges. They said that they were going to be getting larger people onto their team, and they've done all of this. And so I think that this is just another further step in the deal. And I think, again, there's going to be probably news coming out within the next month or so regarding as to why that this is going back to $25,000. So that's just my thoughts. I mean, disclaimer may be, I do own this coin, so take that with what you will, but I own this coin because I want to be a part of something this big. UK Financial has been active as of late, and the recent digital fantasy sports acquisition comes after the company was made in waves, made waves in the crypto world by announcing their independent backing of Bitcoin, which is something that we've already covered on the channel. So I don't want to dive too much on this because we've done like 2 or 3 videos on this. But with this kind of wrapping up why Maya is kind of coming to this early close, I can only imagine that this part right in here was really my attention grabber as to why. Yeah, so the company, right here it is. The company is entering into a new era with major financing contracts that have already been signed. What those financing contracts are is something that we don't entirely know yet, but again, I can imagine it's big if they're stopping the first forward split here a month early. A month early is pretty big, so with this being said, were targets hit? Did they sell all million coins? We don't really know. I mean, I don't think so because I was looking at it, but they were, I think Maya preferred, Maya coin, and I think both of them had the highest volume that they've ever had today. I was looking at it. So they've been absolutely on fire lately. In addition to the videos and everything else and all these news articles, again, I believe MAPR and Maya both had their highest volume ever today, or something like along those lines. Maya's in here so that he can confirm that if it's true. Let me go ahead and move my chat over so I can read it a little bit easier. My coin is everywhere. My preferred 223 is going to change everything. This project could change everything. Jack Smith says MAPR will never be $25,000. ICO will continue until the end. Well, we'll just have to wait and see, Mr. Jack Smith. Jack Smith is FUD, not a part of the Maya team. Well, I don't think he'd be a part of the team if he's saying it's never going to do that. I mean, we'll see. The easiest way to prove someone wrong is through action, so. I will tell you this, though. If it does go back to $25,000, we'll never see him again. But wasn't MAPR already at $25,000 before? A little late on that prediction, Jack. Yeah, so that's the thing though, is like my preferred was already at $25,000. Originally, when I started finding out about it and making videos on it, I think it was like at somewhere between like $13,000 and $16,000, and they were saying this coin is going to go to $25,000, and everyone back then was like, this coin is not going to go to $25,000. Sure enough, it did. Then people were saying it's not going to do a forward split. They hit $25,000. They went back to $250, did the forward split like they said that they were going to do. So, I mean, I've heard it before. It's not the first time. I've heard the same thing about Bitcoin. People said Bitcoin will never get back over $10,000. It did that. I mean, you're always going to have naysayers in the crypto community. It's just the fact that people say it's not going to happen almost jinx it, in my opinion. Now, nothing's for certain, but I mean, I wish you the best of luck. Before the 100x split, silly. Volume yesterday and today is high. Jack Smith, yeah, I mean, I've taken my stance to no longer bet against Maya. I've been in that stance for a while, but if you guys want links to these articles, just ask me, or I can actually go ahead and post some of these on the chat section over here, because there are a lot of articles and they're very, very similar. But let's go ahead and move on to this. Now, this is actually let's go to DFS first, and then we'll get into the geographical news. So this is pretty important because if you guys don't know, UK Financial is acquiring 51% of and doing a merger acquisition of DFS, otherwise known as Digital Fantasy Sports. Now, this merger acquisition is done through I believe it's done through Maya Coins, because a lot of people were asking, well, what is the point of Maya Coins if we have Maya Preferred? And the answer for that is that Maya Coin is the merger and acquisition token. So when they're doing this to DFS, I believe they're using Maya Token, which is, again, why I think Maya Token is growing so much recently. If you guys haven't seen, they're like back at like 90 cents or something, which is crazy. They got added to CADEX around 50 cents, so they're almost up like 80-90% already, which is, again, phenomenal. So what's happening over here is that with this merger acquisition being roughly completed, there is kind of being a rework of the token, so to say. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So on the heels of this finalization, the company will be raising a backing amount of gold and silver of each DFS to $5 from its original amount of $2.50. UK Financial will be transferring approximately 8,000 Maya Preferred 223 tokens to a secure escrow wallet, where they will provide $5 in backing for every 50 for each of the 50 million for each of the total 50 million tokens in Digital Fantasy Sports. The new DFS will come at the heels of the industry towards a new wave of adoption. DFS is not only the world's first ERC20 gaming token, but it will also be one of the first tokens on the Ethereum network to feature all the new, much discussed ERC 865 implementation, allowing DFS and networks to pay transfers in the DFS token instead of Ethereum gas, which is actually really, really big because paying Ethereum gas sucks, I can attest, in one transaction. So that's actually really, really nice. Moving forward, the contract upgrades also include Fantasy Sports contract name updated. Now it's going to be Fantasy Sports instead of DFS, updating the latest ERC20 Solidity, and removing the ERC827 implementation. So what does this mean, and how do you kind of be a part of this new DFS that's happening over here? Well, you guys are going to, and I know it's talking about this over here. Yeah, here. So all digital fantasy sports holders are asked to move their DFS tokens over to the CADEC exchange no longer than August 31st, which is roughly 2 days from today, being August 29th. So that the CADEX can perform the swap of the old digital fantasy sports tokens for the new fantasy sports tokens. So very, very important information for anyone who holds DFS. If you hold DFS, you're gonna want to probably move this over so that you can get the new tokens and that you can have the swap done properly by the exchange themselves, which is again a third party. CADEX is not a part of the Maya team, at least not that I know of. I mean, they can confirm that, but CADEX is not a part of the Maya preferred team or the UK financial team in any way. So again, it's done through a third party, which is all more towards like keeping things safe, because a lot of people don't, a lot of people like the fact that it's done by a third party. The swap will be held at a following ratio: for every 50 old digital fantasy sports tokens, the user will receive 1 new fantasy sports token, and the company has been notified that all coin holders swap source. Sorry, I thought I read that wrong for a second. The company will be notified the company has notified all coin holders that once the swap starts, the price of digital fantasy sports, or the price of now fantasy sports, will increase by 50 times its current value. So no dollar value will be lost at any coin holder. According to the UK financial, the token reduction will be necessary in order to keep the token to fulfill certain requirements set by prospective advisors. So it's kind of, okay, sorry, that was a lot of reading. Let's go ahead and talk about really what this means. So basically, you're going to need to move your funds to CADEX, or not your funds. More specifically, you're going to have to move your DFS if you want to be participating in this transition of the token over to a new token. It's really more so of an upgrade than anything. I mean, the fact that we're not going to have to use gas anymore is going to be really, really nice, because I hate paying in gas. It's not like it's super expensive. Like, I made, I think it was around 100,000 DFS transfer, and it costed me like 18 cents. But I didn't have any Ethereum in my cold wallet, so I couldn't transfer it, or my hot wallet, whatever it was. I couldn't transfer it, so I had to go buy Ethereum on Coinbase, send it to my wallet just so I could go and transfer, and it was just a pain. So the fact that we're not going to have to pay Ethereum gas anymore is going to be really nice. But basically, by no later than August 31st, they recommend having your funds on CADEX so that you can participate in the swap, and things should be really cool from there. Let me go ahead and look over here at the screen and make sure I'm going through chat. And how many USD will be one Maya coin? Any guess? So right now, one Maya coin it was 50 cents, and now it's almost $1. What it can go to, I don't know the targeted goal. It's supposed to be, ideally, I mean, it can be all the way up to half the price of Maya Preferred. So it has half the book. It has half the book value of MAPR. So in theory, it could be worth half the market value of MAPR as well. So if MAPR is trading at if MAPR is trading at $250 currently, I don't see any reason why Maya coin can't go all the way up to $125. Like, you see what I'm saying? If it is half the book value, it could also have half the market value. Now, it's not in perfect correlation. The prices aren't interlocked and frozen at those specific ratios, but it's very possible, and that's what I'm trying to get at here. If it has half the book value, I understand that it could have at least half the market value, in my opinion. This looks like some crypto with some momentum. I mean, it really does. I want MAPR and Maya's market cap to be unveiled on CoinMarketCap to see them in the 1 and 2 spot over Bitcoin. It sounds so crazy that it might happen, but we need that question mark gone. So that's something to bring up. I think my preferred isn't here, so I'm sure that they're working very hard on that. Mr. Classic, what's your name? Dottie Classic. I'm sure the Maya preferred team is working very hard on that. I would love to see their market cap unveiled on CoinMarketCap as well. But again, that's one of those things that just takes time. So I would say be patient. They just got listed on there, I think, this month. So they're going one step at a time. All right, what were we doing? Oh. So Maya's asking to meet with Jack. I mean, they'd love to talk here. A currency going to back with gold and silver standard will stabilize all cryptos, and it will increase in value. Perfectly pronouncing, perfect. So yeah, MAPR's here. I mean, if you guys have any questions, by all means, ask them. Let's go over to this third topic that we have to talk about over here. Again, I don't know why this is up here like this, but basically it's crypto geography and how cryptocurrency is progressing through Mexico. So if you guys don't know, Maya Preferred and Maya Coin they're really focused around Central America, more so Latin America and the Mexico area. So this article was an extremely good read, one that I actually got sent to me, and I'm very, very glad that I read it. It's not very often that I see an article like this, and it is so enlightening. Because so many of the time, and whether you guys live in the United States or whatever country you guys might be from, a lot of the time you only worry about what's happening in Korea, what's happening in China, what's happening in the United States with cryptocurrency. We never say, well, what about like other countries? What is happening in Spain or Mexico or all these other countries that exist with Bitcoin and cryptos, and they're actually doing a lot of work. So let's go ahead and talk about this, because this is an extremely bullish article talking about the regulations and the economic situations in Mexico and how they're handling cryptocurrency. Now you guys can see this is an absolute giant article, so I can't go through the whole thing and I can't really do it all justice, but I want to kind of talk about how this is progressing. So basically it talks about how, and let's go ahead and kind of cover this first. So another payment application is the popular one among Mexicans, known as MexPago. It allows users to pay from any mobile device, be a cell phone or tablet or whatever that may be. Users register with a bank account to receive direct deposits from their sales. If a user does not have an active account, they can they can request a MexPago, I hope that's how you pronounce it, card and receive their sales and deposits. Basically what this is talking about is the fact that cryptocurrencies and stuff could very well be coming to some of these payment systems very, very soon, because some of these crypto businessmen are starting to get involved with this world, the world of digital age and digital payments, and how that's kind of paying in or more so tying in with ATMs and digital payment transfers. So what's happening over here is Mexico is kind of talking about and discussing this area of, well, what are we going to do with cryptocurrencies? And it looks like it was kind of bullish, and then it was kind of getting bearish again, and now it's starting to get really, really bullish again as they're starting to be accepting of it. Let's go ahead and, where were the numbers on this? There were some phenomenal numbers. Again, it's a big article. And I want to be able to find this because it's talking about just how far Mexico has come with these cryptos that they're using. Here it is. So according to Finovista, the largest impact organization in Latin America and in Spain, the Mexico crypto ecosystem has emerged as a leader among its peers in Latin America, and it's well on its way to having 400 active startups. The numbers speak volumes, and there has been an 18% net growth of the market with 98 recently created fintech startups, constituting a gross growth of 29.3% for the year, which is incredible. Here are the top 3 specialties of fintech startups in Mexico. Loans, 81 startups, up roughly 20.6%. Business payouts, payments and I'm gonna butcher this word. I know I should be able to pronounce it, but I can't. Are up 79 startups and 21%. Business finance management, otherwise known as BFM, has 52 startups at 13.2%. Loans are the most popular use case for crypto in Mexico, and that's something that really struck me because I was like, what in the world? Are you serious? I kept reading and it kind of blew my mind. So listen to me here. Loans are the most important are the most popular use case in Mexico. And in 2018, Banxico increased the interest rate from 8 to 8.5 or to 8.25 annual rate, which is a boost in the demand of cheaper and fuss-free loans. One of the crypto alternatives is, again, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, Credilicamike, something like that, a blockchain credited network with gamification features that provides loans for investing in Mexican pesos. So what's basically happening over here, and there were some other things, and they actually even brought up Maya over here. So this article isn't centered around Maya. This article is centered around the growth of cryptos and regulation and stuff that's been expanding in Mexico. But one of the things that they actually cover in here is Maya because they're just making such big moves in Mexico. Now they cover Amero, they cover Maya Preferred, 223, they cover Real Silver Coin, Agora Coin. So this isn't like Maya put out this article and then centered it around them. This is someone else putting out this article and including Maya because they're doing big things in Latin America. So they say another standout example of a local stable coin is MAPR. Mexico holds the top spot in terms of global silver production and 9th place in global gold. Nevertheless, it may be surprising to hear that Maya Preferred 223 MAPR, each coin is backed with approximately $34,000 in gold and silver, with 11 major mines in Mexico, which makes it one of the most expensive stablecoins ever, with a price of about $25,000 per MAPR, which is ideally what it's supposed to go back to. When was this produced? Because it's currently 250. This was produced actually a couple days ago. So let's go back. Let's finish this article. There are several Mexican coins backed with precious metals like Real Silver Coin, Egypt Coin, or Egypt Crypto Coin, but at this point, MAPR looks like the most formidable of the lot. Again, this is published by Crypto Daily. I mean, that's a big statement to say that this is the most prominent coin in Mexico right now. I mean, again, don't take that lightly. The fact that a third party is saying this, it shouldn't be overlooked. In my opinion, as an analyst, I mean, come on. When's the MAIX ICO? I don't think they are. I mean, maybe eventually, but I mean, MAIX is an exchange. RS Chris says, what is the percentage increase on MAPR award who held on the 31st of July? We don't know if we were doing it. What is the percentage increase of MAPR award? Okay, so here, I got confused. Maya was saying we don't know if we're going to do it, may cancel it and give dividend. That was being referred to the MAIX ICO or something like that. Not to what you asked, Chris. On September 30th. Okay, so that's when it officially happens. Perfect. If MAPR blasts in the outer space back into 250k, or if MAPR blasts in the outer space back to 25k, will Maya coin mimic MAPR's movement and half its book value, or will it be a slow climb? I think that's going to be one of the things. Again, Maya coin's a lot newer than MAPR, so it's going to be. I mean, there's no saying. There's no what's the word? There's no like set in stone answer for this, because some things, just because the book value of something is something, it is a number. That was really bad. It was really poorly said. Just because the book value of something is said, that doesn't mean that the market value will necessarily follow. I mean, you have silver. Silver, I think, is a great example of that right now. the book value of silver, it costs more to take silver out of the ground than it does to sell it right now. And again, fact check me on that just to make sure I'm right, but I'm like 99% sure that's true. That shouldn't be the case. So just because something can be worth more than it is, but it can be suppressed. And again, it's just one of those things where nothing is set in stone, but I would imagine that what you're saying is true. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this article, guys. Actually, I think we've almost finished up this entirely. So some of the major talk points that I want to go over before we end this here is kind of recap the mainstream points that we talked about. So I think number one is this progression through Mexico and how cryptocurrency is progressing. Again, this was done by a third party that had nothing to do with Maya, called Crypto Daily, which is fairly decent size. And what they did actually, excuse me, choking. What they did on here is they actually talked about my preferred advancing, and more so alongside a lot of other cryptocurrencies. So between Amero and my preferred and Real Silver Coin and Agora Coin and Egyptian, I think it was Egypt Coin or something like that. A bunch of these different cryptocurrencies all happening and progressing through the markets of Mexico. It also said that out of all of these, MAPR looks like the most formidable of the lot. So again, something that I'm taking away here is that a third party is looking at MAPR and saying from a third party's perspective of people who know what's happening in Mexico, MAPR looks like they are the most formidable. Something I'm taking away from this. I'm also taking away some of these numbers over here and the growth rates in Mexico, especially in these fintech companies. One of the things that I'm looking at as an analyst. Moving over towards one of the other things I wanted to recap. Again, the upgrade of DFS, Fantasy Sports DFS will now be DFS, but under a new name of Fantasy Sports. The contract name will be updated. There will be solving the Ethereum gas issue in one transaction. They will be removing the ERC 827 implementation for the ERC 865. Also, you have to have your DFS on CADEX by August 31st. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to participate in this upgrade and the transition of the token. So you have roughly 2 days for that. Moving into our final highlights of the stream, what we're going to be talking about is, of course, the split drawing early and why this is happening. One of the biggest takeaways for me is what they were talking about right in here, if we can find it. And right here it is. So it says the company is entering into a new era with major financing contracts that have already been signed. That's one of the takeaways that I'm looking at. Again, I think it's one of those things where it can't be announced early. It's probably they're legally inclined to not be able to announce it yet, or maybe they're just withholding this information. But the fact that they threw this in here, what this is telling to me as an analyst is that this is just enough for me to know there's something happening in the background. We don't know what it is yet. We'll probably find out within the next month or so. But there is something happening in the background. So that's going to be a waiting game. And I'm sure if anything does come out over this next month, I will be covering it. But again, as an analyst, this is a perfect sentence saying there's something happening in the background. This isn't just ending early for no reason. And there has to be something going on behind the scenes. The next thing that I want to have as a takeaway over here is that the original price is going to go back to $25,000. One of the things that they actually talked about in this article is talking about how the coin's price they say the coin's price climbs back to the original high of $25,000. Now, it's not saying it may climb back to $25,000. This is them saying, watch as the coin climbs back to this price. So if this happens, it will be the first successful forward split in the history of cryptocurrency. So watch as all this is happening. This is a big claim that a lot of people, if this happens, are going to be very, very excited about, and I'm sure the news will be all over because they will be the first one after they do this to complete a forward split. I mean, this is going to be huge. The final takeaways that I have from this guy is that they're talking about the past. They're not just forgetting about what they've said and what they've done and only focusing on the current. They're actually talking about what's been happening in Maya, and they're still focused on that. So for the examples here, backing Bitcoin and gold and silver, that's still happening, and the acquisition of the 51% of DFS, which is something that we were just covering on a second ago over here in this article. So with this being said, guys, we have almost gone through all the information today. I want to go through chat a little bit more here and answer whatever questions that you guys might have. So let me go ahead and scroll around. And Penton, you have full admin powers, so if anyone acts up or anything, you can do whatever you see fit. Next week's news on Maya, MAPR, and DFS are gonna change cryptocurrency of the world. I promise everyone. You guys heard it here. So we got news coming out next week then. CADX, top volume coin on exchange on is Ethereum Classic. I'm looking forward to next week. So am I. Change the world. Somebody needs to do it. VeChain did a 100x forward split. Did they? I mean, I never heard about that if they did. If you can get me, Jack, if you can send me an article on that, I'll look at it, but I don't think they did. How much of Maya supply is issued? That's a great question. So they have a 1 million total coins available to the public. And I think that answers your question. This is going to be huge. Yeah. So Dottie Classic said, yeah, 1 million. So it is 1 million available to the public, which is pretty large. So let's go ahead and what else do we have here? We can always go through and look through some of these. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to. I don't want to end the stream yet because I want to be able to have you guys discuss this and talk about this, but also work through some of these other articles. And one of the things for me is that even so, we already covered all the information here, right? One of the things that I want to bring up is... Oh, I think I just froze my computer. There we go. So let's go ahead and load some charts up over here. Digital Fantasy Sports up 13%. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Maya coin. It'll load. Is this updated? I thought I just saw it on CADX for more. This might not be up to date. Let me check the CADX price. Can I not search? Let's check this. We'll get this solved out. Yeah, I mean, it was all the way up. Maya coin was all the way up to like... Yeah, it was about $1. It's come back down a little bit, but not much. I think that this is just lagging behind here. Yeah, so this is just lagging behind a little bit. Because even the Satoshi values aren't entirely matched up. But that's CoinGecko. And of course, MAPR is still frozen. So, I mean, absolutely great stuff coming out over here. Again, MAPR sitting at 255.02, still frozen at its current price until September, or really until September 1st. I promoted the referral program, but and earn 51 tokens. Wow. Maya Coin's going live on a new exchange on September 3rd. So that actually hasn't been published yet, I don't think, in a news article. But Maya's at 90 cents and MAPR's at 254. Yeah, so, I mean, the CoinGecko chart, I mean, CoinGecko is known for being a little bit more on the slower side when it comes to, I don't know, what the, like, price updates. I think they only update, like, every couple hours or something like that. But they're known for being on the slow side. Why not paid me? I paid the fee. Should I buy a Maya coin or MAPR? I am legally not allowed to tell anyone what to spend their money on. But I can tell you that I currently own Maya, MAPR, Maya coin. Let me rephrase that. I personally own Maya coin, DFS, Digital Fantasy Sports being DFS, and MAPR, Maya Preferred 223. I own all three of those, but legally I'm not allowed to tell you to buy those, or else I get in trouble. I think they're good investments, or else I want to invest in them, but I can't tell you what to do. How many Maya coins will be given for the X amount of MAPR tokens held on August? On every month. That's a really good question. That's a really good question, Chris, and I don't know the answer, so maybe Maya can help you with that. Oh, wait. What is that, 200,000? Because you're so special. So is DFS on a new exchange? So DFS, what is this? DFS and, let's talk about that. Is Maya Coin, MAPR, and DFS all going live on a new exchange on September 3rd? Is that true? I hope so. Let's get confirmation on that before I make any claims, but not MAPR. So just Maya Coin and DFS is going live on a new exchange. We get more news. We're doing news videos. We get more news to come while the video is coming out. No better way to do it than that. So DFS and Maya Coin, both getting listed on new exchanges. Really good. Can't be a bad thing. Where is Maya Coin listed? Maya Coin is listed on the CADEX exchange. It's getting listed on a new exchange on September 3rd. MAPR will also be getting listed on a new exchange pretty soon. So you can buy DFS on CoinDeal and on CADEX. You can also buy it from the DFS website. You can also get MAPR from FatBTC and CADEX, and you can get Maya Coin from just CADEX. But all three of those tokens should have new exchanges coming by September 3rd, which is what Maya is saying. CoinMarketCap shows Maya on FatBTC exchange, whatever that is. FatBTC is like one of the top 50 exchanges in the world, I believe, max, and so is CADEX. They're both right around top 50 area for cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. And you can see that on CoinMarketCap. If you go to top 100 exchanges and do, I think it's like what, a search is like Control F and type in FatBTC, it'll come right up. I know that both FatBTC and CADEX are both in that area. Will Maya eventually turn into MAPR? I don't think so. They're two separate coins. They're for separate purposes as well. MAPR is the token itself, the main token, and Maya is the merger and acquisition token, from my understanding. Gold and silver have gone up a lot lately. Time to up the backing amount in dollar. That's actually true. That's actually true, Jack. So since gold and silver have gone up so much lately, that means that the backing has actually gone up as well. Fancy seeing you here. Well, okay, so the reason that there's no volume on FatBTC is because the forward split's being conducted on CADEX. So, yeah, I mean, that's self-explanatory. Never mind. Yeah, FatBTC is an exchange, not a token. Yes, I mean I've never used. That's okay. I mean I never used either of those, but CADX. I like CADX a lot more than FatBTC because it's so easy. It's so easy. So, with that being said, guys, we pretty much covered everything that we needed to tonight. I've already gone over the major recap points that we needed to talk about in here. So, let me just make sure I am not missing out on anything, and I think we're good. Awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight. If you guys have any questions or concerns or anything like that, be sure to shoot me a message on Discord or email. Again, both of those, I think you can get my email through my YouTube page. If you guys go to my page, I think it's under like about or something like that, or like information. And if you guys want to contact me on Discord, there's a link for that in the description down below. If you guys want to join the Discord community, there's a link to that in the description that you guys can click on. No strings attached. It's free. You might just have to make an account in order to sign up for Discord, which is, you know, just because it's a program. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys have any further questions, by all means, shoot those my way. I've been out of the loop for a while. Can you give me a short rundown of what Maya is? Slice Keeper, yes I can. So MAPR, Maya Preferred is a cryptocurrency that is backed entirely in gold and silver supplies in mainly Latin America. They have 11 different mines, giving them a book value of $34,000, and they are the first cryptocurrency to conduct a forward split. They did a 100x forward split going from $25,000. They're currently at $250 per token. And now they're supposed to go back to $25,000, which is roughly 100x on your investment if you own any. So that's why it's so exciting, is the fact that you could potentially 100x your money by the end of this year, which is the reason that it's so big. Another thing is they have put a fully back, how do you say this? They have fully backed Bitcoin in gold and silver with their token, and they're actually backing Bitcoin in gold and silver, which makes them just another reason that they are significant. In this article that I was actually reading through, they're labeled as Latin America's most formidable and most standout coin, which it says about over here. Out of all of them, MAPR is the most formidable of the lot. And yeah, they've just been doing a lot. So that pretty much is like the quick run, but obviously there's like a whole lot more small details that I could get into. But the forward split ends on the 31st. Is the reverse split 250 to 1? I don't think so. I think there's like the split is done. They already did. It's just the forward split. I don't think they're doing a reverse split. Silver is up 20% in a month. I know, it's going crazy, man. Oh, it runs on Ethereum Classic. Maybe that's why the ETC volume is... Yeah, I would imagine so. Alright, well, now that I answered all the questions, guys, I am going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys all so much for watching, guys. Again, have any questions, be sure to message me. I would love to be able to talk to you guys and get back to you on this. And I will see you guys in the next video. We will be doing a live stream on Sunday night at 8 p.m. just like normal. I had to miss last week, so we're going to be doing one and starting that back this week with the live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in, whenever the next video is, really. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for a great time. And we are clear to go. Awesome. I'll see you guys all soon.